A new ending to the same story. Before we hop in this review of chapter 139.5 of Attack on Titan, please do me a favor and leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and yeah, here we go to review chapter 139.5 of Attack on Titan. So, I got a while to think about the original ending of Attack on Titan, and I'll admit, my opinion hasn't changed. I still think it's alright. It's not very good in my mind, but hey, that's neither here nor there. I've watched a whole ton of positive reviews on it, but all I've really heard is the idea that themes should carry the narrative, and I disagree. I think good writing carries the narrative. Attack on Titan wasn't good because of its themes. Attack on Titan wasn't a 12 out of 10 manga because of its themes. It was a 12 out of 10 manga because of its storytelling. How well it was written, how well its characters were written, how real it felt, how logical everything felt, how every progression felt real and positive and true. Yeah, it lost that a while ago. So I won't blame the ending on this. To be fair, the ending is not the direct downfall of Attack on Titan. I'm not saying the manga was perfect for 138 chapters and then it failed miserably at chapter 139. It wasn't. It was perfect, at least to me, at least to your boy. It was perfect for probably around 100 chapters, maybe 90 something chapters, and then it just went off the deep end. But regardless of that, we have a new ending to discuss, and it is these lonely 7 pages, and we get to see a couple things. So we get to see the same reusage of Armin declaring that he killed Eren, but we get an extra conversation between Mikasa and Ymir. And Mikasa explains that Ymir was poking around in her head this entire time, simply watching Mikasa do her thing, trying to figure out what Mikasa was doing and how she would react to certain scenarios and stuff like that. And Mikasa goes to note that Ymir's life must have been a completely tragic nightmare, and she can't go back to that robbed life, and that she must go on with the knowledge that she created life, and that should be good enough. And the thing is, you don't know, we'll talk about that later, let's just finish the summary. Thing is, we get to see Ymir fade into the night, and Mikasa walks off. We get to see, I'm assuming, who would be Mikasa, and then I think if that's Mikasa, then on top of that, that's Jean with her, then that's their child visiting Eren's grave, and then we flash many years into the future to see this same couple, much older now. Mikasa has a cane, Jean is helping her along, their first daughter seems to have a child with her, if not 2, and then I guess that's probably Falco and Gabby in the back, just with them, guiding them to the grave, and I'm assuming Mikasa's the one in the wheelchair probably, and they're visiting Eren's grave again. Then we hop into the future, once again, after they've laid down this final rose, and I believe that's Mikasa dead, in a coffin or lying in a field, and in that field, she dies, and she just fades away. But then, on top of this, we get to see all of Eldia being destroyed. I'm assuming by airstrikes, depending on how the buildings are being demolished. I don't think this was a planned attack, so on sort, or like this, no. I don't think this was a thing that the Eldians themselves were doing. I'm pretty sure this was outside sources finally getting revenge. Then we see a destroyed area, but the one thing that stands is the tree. And the tree stands for long enough that the collapsed buildings keep falling and the tree keeps going bigger, too much to the point that a whole forest of little trees come around the big tree. And we see this small child wandering with the dog. And the dog walks up to the tree that looks so eerily familiar to where Ymir's journey started, millennia upon millennia ago. And that is the end of the chapter, or the partial chapter. So what do I think about it? I think this is fine. I think this is just a continuation of the chapter that we got last time. And the thing is, this is fine, because everyone got what they wanted. Legitimately. Eren got what he wanted. His friends got to live long. The world got what they wanted. The Titan threat was gone for a while. The rest of the world got their revenge. Everyone got to live happily, honestly. There was probably beautiful weddings, and people died, of course, but it was of natural causes. The people we knew lived happy, long lives, just as Eren wanted to, and then the world, probably out of spite, probably out of vengeance after they got their population back up, destroyed it. However, due to the nature of fate, and due to the Norse influence on Attack on Titan, the cycle simply repeats again. Sort of like a Ragnarok scenario in Norse mythology, if you know anything about that. No matter what, the world will loop again and again and again. So that's why this child goes to the same old tree and is likely to fall in and restart the cycle all over again. Except in a different way, because I'm assuming this child isn't a slave and they don't look like they're being hunted. But still, It's a fresh start for the Titans. It's a fresh start for the world, and the cycle begins again for Attack on Titan 2, releasing May 2022. I'm kidding. But what do I think about the ending? It's alright. I think it's just a continuation of last chapter, honestly. So if you like last chapter, you'll like this one. And it answers my one problem with the world not taking revenge on the Eldians for destroying everybody and like killing 80% of the population. So it does everything reasonably fine. But it doesn't really change my thoughts on the ending of Attack on Titan. I mean, sure, it's a loop cycle, so it's gonna end. Or no, it's gonna re-begin all over again. And there's just gonna be more death, more bloodshed, more terror, more pain. And that's fine. Technically, everyone still got their happy ending. Technically, everyone still got what they wanted. But now the cycle begins again. So more people are gonna suffer, more people are gonna go through it. But this doesn't really solve many of my main problems with Attack on Titan's actual ending. It still doesn't really answer the whole thing with where the Titan powers went. Did they just return to this tree? Was the Titan power trapped in Eren's head, and that's where he was buried, so it just regrew from there? I don't really know, but I'm assuming we're never supposed to know. Once again, Isayama wanted an open ending that would be discussed for years upon years upon years. The thing is, I don't know, it's alright. That's the sad thing. It just feels alright. Like, I know I probably should be feeling more feelings at the sight of Jean and Mikasa having a child, growing old, Eldia being destroyed, all that stuff, and this cycle beginning again, but this is fine to me. Ymir is still a terrible person, but she was a background element that I don't think ever had a single speaking line. But she was so important to the narrative. We just see an alternate timeline. That's what I'm assuming this is, where the king actually died by the assassination and Ymir stayed to protect her kids. She wants that life, but she didn't get it, so she tortured her own people for thousands upon thousands of years and led to Eren's whole mess. And I guess that's alright. Ymir can be a terrible person. The only thing I don't like about that is that she was such a pivotal element to the end of the narrative that it makes sense for her to, it doesn't make sense for her to still be a background element while being the whole reason the narrative happened. And the whole reason the ending happened. It's okay for a background element to be the whole reason the narrative happened. Like, there's a whole ton of things in fiction where they just happen to exist and they drive the plot. But Ymir drove the plot from before the series, then for a majority of the series just wasn't even mentioned, was more so a myth, then came in at the last second and decided to take the wheel and drive Attack on Titan wherever she wanted to go. And yes, that's fine. I guess that's the thing. I'm still indifferent. Like, this isn't an ending that's necessarily, it's not the worst ending ever to anything ever. I don't know. It doesn't evoke any strong emotions out of me. Still doesn't really make sense to me. Sure, Mikasa did this. Mikasa was the key to victory, as y'all explained. Thanks for y'all in the comments. I know I mentioned it in the video, but I know a lot of y'all, sometimes y'all don't watch the videos, you just put it on as a podcast, so you didn't see me already acknowledging that I knew that it was the whole love/Stockholm syndrome thing. But thank y'all for explaining to me in the comments, because it did help me out. Yeah, but the thing is, even with the whole Stockholm syndrome/love explanation, it doesn't even make sense, because Ymir reveals that she didn't want to do that. So why would she serve someone she didn't even really love for thousands of years and torture everybody? Until somehow Mikasa's situation happened to happen perfectly, even though Ymir could read all the past. Okay, whatever. Somehow, even though we know Mikasa still loved Eren after she killed him, I suppose that just means Ymir still loved the king after he died, or after she died. So it's fine. I don't know. I feel numb, right? Like, Attack on Titan's over, and I'm happy about that. But I'm not happy with the way it ended. But it's not like I can just blame it on the ending. I'm not happy with the back quarter of Attack on Titan. So me putting all the blame on the ending, like Isayama was somehow going to perfectly spin an amazing narrative in a total of like 50 something pages. It's impossible to think about that. Isayama was he is a great author. I will never say Isayama isn't a great author. What I will say is he lost the plot. He lost it a while ago. I won't say that themes carry a narrative. They just don't for me. I know that's basically the gist of what I got. When I'm in a world of negativity, I looked for the positive in regards to reactions to Attack on Titan's ending to try and change my own view. Because contrary to popular belief, I actually do want to like things. I don't want to criticize them. I would love for them to be perfect, or at least fit my taste, because my tastes are weird. I'm not even gonna lie to you. My tastes are whack. But if it fits my taste, I enjoy it. So I'm fine with people changing my opinion, but the most convincing arguments I always found were ignore the logic, ignore the plot, accept it, either accept it at face value and do not think about it, and or the themes backpack the narrative. And it's fine. I'm glad that some people are happy with that, but I'm not. But the thing is, if you are happy with that, if you think this ending's perfect, if you think you really, really enjoy this ending and you think it's really, really good, I'm glad for you. No, legitimately, I'm 100% happy for you. I just will not tell you something that I personally don't believe. This is my review on a series that I enjoyed for over half a decade. Because I'll admit, I wasn't around from the start. I was around in like 2015, maybe 2014. Heck, I think not. Right? I think like right after the first season of the anime, I went and read the manga. But the thing is, I just sit here and I'm like, it's over now. And I'm fine with that. But it just doesn't do much for me. Like, I'm happy that everyone else got to be happy and live out their lives the long day. I'm glad that Eren got what he wanted. I'm glad everyone got what they wanted, except for Mikasa not being able to have Eren. But she moved on. She still lived a happy life with Jean. That's perfectly fine with me. I'm glad that everyone lived a happy life. It just doesn't feel like the kind of story that I was reading. I was honestly ready for everyone to die. I'm not sure. I have a homie. We've talked about Attack on Titan for hours upon hours on end. We were, ever since like January, chapter by chapter, leak by leak, theory by theory, we were just theory crafting, tearing it apart. Mainly because we were looking for something good. We were hoping for something good. And like, this is fine. That's okay. But as I sit there thinking about all that time, I'm like, wow, this is what we ended with, right? No, it's just sad. There's still a whole ton of questions, but they're never going to be answered. If Isayama really thought this was a satisfying way to extend the ending of the series and thought this was good to show, that's fine. Obviously, Isayama wanted to be vague. Ironically enough, though, he made this ending supposedly because people were confused about the initial ending. But no, it didn't necessarily clear up my confusion. It clears up my confusion because it just confirms that Ymir's just a terrible person, which is fine. And everyone got what they wanted in the end anyway, so it's fine. It's a triumphant ending to a story I didn't expect to have a triumphant ending. I was ready for depression, but we didn't get that. So that's good. I'm glad that everything ended up happily, and I'm glad people enjoy that. But yeah, those are my real thoughts. I don't know. Attack on Titan as a whole is still like an 8 out of 10 to me. But it used to be a 10 out of 10. But I don't know, I can't really give a manga that lost me around 3/4 of the way through full credit. Like I said in the original 139 review, I started reading Attack on Titan out of obligation and a need to know how it ended rather than enjoying it anymore. So, I got what I wanted, my true ending and then the extended ending, and it's all okay. Would I rate this chapter specifically? Well, with 139 as a whole, I give it a 6. Satisfactory, gets the job done, doesn't feel like the ending to a story I was reading, but then again, I've been reading the story I was reading for, let's see, I've been about 3/4. Series been going on for like 12 years. So yeah, I haven't been reading the story I thought I was reading for about 3 or 4 years now. That's perfectly fine. What do you guys think though? I really want to hear it. Like, did this ending make it better for you? Did it make it worse for you? Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.